Alright, what's up y'all, it's LakerFan here. As I was about to title today's video, here to show you everything you need to know as a slasher in NBA 2K24, between your meter dunks to how to actually get to them consistently, animations, etc, etc. Everything that you need to know as a slasher in 2K24. So I hope y'all enjoy the video. If you do, feel free to drop a like, sub if you're new to noties, all good stuff, and like always, try this one to 2,000 likes. Now, if you're not familiar with me or who I am or what I do exactly, I've been doing the slasher stuff since 2K17 for the most part. Athletic finishers, actual slashers, sometimes even the shooting slashers, 5-out style. In today's video, this is a pure slasher 610 on display, and this is all post-patch gameplay. So there was a patch about 5 or 6 days ago, if you guys know, and if you're watching this later in the year, it's essentially when the patch made it where open dunks are significantly bigger and contested contact dunks are still small, 100%. But this is the type of open, quote-unquote, dunk that we're talking about. Now, it's not open by, you know, my logic, your logic, or anything like that. This is not a wide open dunk meter, but the game treats it as such. That's what we're talking about, and it may still be an issue. I'm gonna be completely honest with you, but I'm not here to, you know, nerf slashers by any means. I'm one of you guys who are watching this video. So if you're watching this, you're very likely a slasher that's been struggling throughout the course of 2K24 because the meter dunking has been extremely hard in some cases, like this right here. As you can see, very small meter on this one. And we're here to talk about what causes a tiny meter like this in the first place, how to avoid it, what you want to do in terms of your dribbling, and maybe patience in terms of what dunks to go for, what dunks to not go for, and again, all types of other tips that we're here to talk about in today's video. So let's get straight into this and actually just break them all down now. So I'm gonna come all the way back to the beginning here, and I just want to talk about every clip that we have in this little cut up right here. It's 7 minutes worth of gameplay. So I am going to be just absolutely feeding you guys with information, at least that I think is from an expert like me when it comes to this field, even though in this clip you can see I'm shooting 40%. So I will tell you this much on this build though, I've been shooting like 88 with this, and obviously, you know, pure inside, so it is what it is. But anyway, let's start right here. So you can see we have that big behind the back into an offhand run. Now the offhand run is what I prefer to do for the most part. I'm not going to talk too much about dribbling in specific as far as my SIGs, because it can vary if you're watching this video between if you're a 6'5" all the way to a 6'9", and then for the 6'10s that I'm talking about for the slashers, that's the build I'm on. And what benefits you so much for being on a build like this is going to be your standing dunk meter ability. We'll talk about it later in the video, but for the most part, I gotta say, I think builds like this are really your king slasher build in 2K24. But anyway, again, offhand runs are really good as far as this normal dribble style I'm on. But yeah, as you guys can see in the 5-out set right here in Pro-Am, this is gonna be more of like a, obviously, I'm going to be able to dunk this open more often than not, but I'm dunk metering for the sake of, if this guy from the corner drops, you don't want to have to deal with that. If this guy gets pulled into a dunk, we're fine with that. What I'm trying to get at as far as like why you want to perform dunk meters even wide open, in my opinion, is you never know what kind of stupid stuff can happen as far as the game, especially for a 5-out setting or like 5v5 setting for that matter in the first place. This guy could turn around and get a crazy block from behind. He could turn around and get a crazy block off the corner or something like that. I think the more that you go for these meter dunks, and you can see there is nothing to fear in terms of going for a meter dunk, period, especially in a situation like this where it's like kind of wide open spaces. All you're going to get is perfect takes on this. You're never going to really struggle off like going for a meter dunk like this. And it's pretty obvious he was pretty adamant for going for that drop off the hash. Now, this one is not a clip like really worth breaking down way too much. This one I wanted to talk about patience a little bit. So I'm playing, and something went wrong with the game, and I had 3 AIs on my team. It's literally me and the guy in the corner going against 4 users. One of their guys got kicked too. But I want to talk about patience. So like, I'm waiting this out because I'm not sure which one is his guy. Like this is the guy that was guarding Bonnie's AI in the first place, and as you can see, like some teams would zone that where this guy is gonna just go ahead and take it, and this guy ends up guarding me. But instead, you can see I'm waiting it out because I'm like, okay, I just gotta make sure everything is what it is. And you know, I'm even still using the patience with 5 seconds left. So now let's talk about this triple threat move that's really good. You saw me do that little jab step right there. So to do the jab step, I'm flicking to the left on my right stick. That's generally what it is. My player is left-handed. If you're right-handed, I'm sure it's flicking to the right gets that jab more often than not. Sometimes the catches will mess with that as well. So sometimes you get a catch and then it makes you jab to the right even though you're left-handed. But that's nonetheless, for the most part, all you guys need to know is that just jab to whatever side your player's dominant hand is, and you're gonna get that little jab right there. Now what the jab tells you, because you can't really do a triple threat speed boost off that jab that I just did right there. It's kind of garbage. Most triple threat mechanics are terrible in this game in terms of giving you really good speed boosts and animations, but what I'm doing the jab for is to indicate where my offhand is. So because I'm seeing that the jab is to the left, that means my good spin is going to be when I spin counterclockwise this direction to the right, and as you're going to see, it gives me that gigantic big spin right there. Now if I were to spin the other direction, going from right to left, it gives me a really bad spin. So that's why you want to make sure that you know where your jab step side is, and then if you spin away from that jab step side, it'll give you this gigantic spin right here that gives you a really good dunk and obviously really good opening as far as what you're gonna be wanting out of that. Now, we also have things like the blowout dribble. You can see I will talk about, we're going to skip over this clip. We're not going to talk too much about it, but things like flipping your ball hand to the offhand, it's a very big deal. Not to mention, as much as your teammates may want you to pass the ball when you're playing as a style like this, because it can be very, annoying to sit here and watch stuff like that. But I mean, sometimes in this 5-out, it's tough to space the floor on the three-point line. As much as people will complain, like my build, clogging up the spacing in the paint, I will say 5-out is a very tough thing to deal with on the spacing of the perimeter. This guy can play 2 lanes at once right here. He really could just boom. He's sitting in that hash lane and he's sitting in the corner lane no matter which one I threw, yet I'm facing a bump on the one-on-one defender. So just because this guy's sitting paint doesn't mean there's actually someone open at all times. So even though I threw it and nothing really bad happened right there, just keep in mind that it is tough to dot 5-out rotations in this game. So you definitely want to be more of a meter dunk kind of scorer, if you ask me, and not be an overly too much passer kind of guy in the game. Now, definitely pass when it's according. You'll see that in the video a little bit as well. But anyway, what I also want to talk about is the value of being an offensive rebounder too. I know this kind of deters from the video, but I just want to say being an offensive rebounder and being capable of doing things like this is a huge deal, and there's not many people in the game that are capable of it. So for instance, off those double crash offensive rebounds, I get 2 of them, and then not to mention some people are out there with, let's say, 6'10 plus bigs that only have standing dunk, but they have no driving dunk. It's like a 65 driving dunk, but maybe like a 92 standing. The problem is, if you only have standing dunk, you are not going to be able to do what I just did on this clip where I'm walking into a better space, because as you're going to see, this is the no-go zone of going for a standing dunk meter in this game. You have a defender straight in between you. You have quite a bit of range between you and the basket, and those are going to be the tiny meters. Now, you having driving dunk, if you happen to have it while also still being able to standing dunk, like let's say even if you just have the packages, if you have like a 45 standing dunk, this is going to be the dunk meter size, even if as long as you have like a high driving dunk, like a 96 like what I have. So reason I'm saying that is, if you have the standing dunk animations but you have a high driving dunk, you'll be able to do stuff like this where I walked away from, like I tried to make sure my defender was not going to be in between me and the basket, so I actually cut the distance between him and the basket and I just ran into him, kind of. It's not a great practice to constantly do, but you can absolutely do it, like, more often than not. But anyway, yeah, as you can see, again, driving dunk is allowing me to get that meter size as big as it is. If you only have standing dunk, you're going to see a very small meter on dunks exactly like that. But anyway, into the next clip. As you can see, I have slash take in this one as well. So this right here is going to be just me going with the behind the back. Now this is why I want to talk to you guys about ball hand flip. It's a very, very key thing to note as far as if you're a slasher in any game of 2K. Like, it's been all the way back to when I started in 17. Behind the backs and crossovers, and not always spins, but generally just the behind the back and crossovers can be a very big deal as far as a dribble set. So this right here, as long as you have a 75 ball handle, is going to be that Jason Tatum behind the back. Now, shout out to the comments for putting me onto this. I've been running it for the last 5 days, ever since the patch, and boy, oh boy, is it just nasty, man. So this right here, you can see ball hand flip is what I'm talking about. So I'm driving left, I'm baiting my defender to not only overplay my left, but also this guy I'm not exactly worried about, because I'm just watching these 2 defenders right now. I know if I'm moving left, I don't have to worry about anything that's going to come over here from the right, because I'm cutting into that space that's going to allow me to get into that behind the back more along this lane, rather than if I did it just going straight and then I did it behind the back, I am very susceptible to a bump from this guy right here off the hash. Whereas, again, I'm doing that leftward movement right here to bait these 2 defenders, and especially my main one in the middle, to thinking I'm going left. You can see he goes for that blitz, and this guy overplays me to the left. If you're playing a very disciplined team defense, they may not overreact in this on-ball setting right here, because they know they have a teammate right here to pinch. But when you're playing anybody that's not like the top 2% of the community, you're going to be able to do stuff like this 100%. So anyway, again, baiting that left side movement right there. I hit the behind the back to flip it. You can see he reacted extremely hard to cut off my left side movement. And to be fair, if you're playing someone that constantly just keeps on playing very, like, I would say conservative in that regard, and he's not reacting to your left side movement right there, go ahead and just actually hit him with the left side movement. There's a clip later in this video where I'm going to show you guys, you can absolutely just gas it to this ball hand side if you wanted to, let's say, run to your left right here. There's a clip later where I'm going to show you what gives really good speed going that way. But anyway, again, behind the back, flip it on him. And now, as far as the positioning in the dunk, let's talk about it in like a shooter sense. So you have blinders and deadeye. just know blinders dunks are really good, where as you can see, he's on my hip, he's to the side of me, he is not between me and the basket, and he's not like directly under it in the first place at all. What you don't want to go for as a slasher in this game is the vertical one-on-ones. You don't want to go for when someone is directly between you and the basket, up and down, straight like this. What you want instead is to go for ones where you can get them to your side, even if they're a late dropper out the corner. If they're coming from over here, yet they even still got to this point, they are still on your side technically. Same with, you know, any corner dropper. So my point of what I'm talking about is, do not fear corner drop. Do not fear, you know, like a late arriving defender by any means. What you have to do is just set up people to be on your side when you're going for the dunk meter, and it's as simple as that, literally. It's actually kind of crazy how it works. Also, if you guys didn't know, I'm pairing up with the NBA 2K Lab this year, so you can use code LAKER for 20% off at checkout at their website. That's NBA2KLab.com. On this website is all types of really good statistical jump shot information. You can also test the jumpers on their website too. Plug the controller straight into your phone or to your PC. You can get early, green, late. It'll tell you where you need to adjust on that jump shot. Or if you don't know what jumper you want to run, you just go to their jump shot recommender. You punch in your height, the jump shot rating that you're working with, and then based on the milliseconds of timing that you get, it'll recommend you a jump shot. So again, if you want to use code LAKER for 20% off at checkout, that's NBA2KLab.com. Appreciate you guys, and we'll get back to the video. So next up, we have another triple threat. This is going to be one of the bad meters. So I'm sitting in the like mid-range per se. So I do that jab to the left to make sure I get the spin to the right. Now look at this. This defender plays immaculate defense. He backs up, taking my right side away really early. I didn't expect it. I'm not gonna lie, that was elite defense. And as you can see, that is what leads to our tiny meter. He is sitting directly between me and the basket. That is terrible angle to go for in this game's logic. It doesn't matter how small they are. It doesn't matter their interior defense. It doesn't matter anything besides their positioning. And that is gonna be what creates this terrible meter. Now here's the thing with this year's game. It's either good or bad. There's no in between on dunk meters. So your biggest skill gap in this game is your knowledge gap. As long as you know what creates these small meters and the big meters, you're gonna be able to just literally be one of the best slashers in the game. It doesn't really come down to your timing or your, you know, input or anything like that. It will in these situations, because as you can see, I just make that, and that is the skill gap in these senses of like making the bad quote-unquote dunks. But honestly, this game's balance is not in a good spot when it comes to the meters. I wish it was a little bit more fluid like layups are, and we'll talk about that a little bit later in the video too. But as you can see, like once again, this is going to be something where it's just me forcing a little bit of a dunk. Now, this is the big gray area, right? Like to me, I'm thinking, oh, well, I might just be able to kind of smooth past him right here, and I'll just be able to glide into a dunk where he ends up behind me. But here's the thing. The game doesn't know that, all right? So in a way, I'm teaching myself a couple things as well, where I'm teaching myself through these clips that instead of doing this, you're going to have to actually just continue to dribble along the baseline and then end up on the other side of it. You can probably start the dunk meter from about right here if that's the case, but starting it early as a driving dunk is not the move. If you have standing dunk though, or again, just standing dunk packages with a high driving dunk, you're going to be able to just kind of maneuver through this baseline, then start the dunk as you're in that dead zone, and your player will just kind of go up through it on a baseline kind of reverse dunk essentially. But again, these are ones that you're going to have to want to avoid. Even though it looks like you may be able to just kind of finesse your way past him, he is between me and the basket by all regards, and it's just going to be a terrible dunk meter. So again, I'm recording these ones because obviously these ones that I made, but it's I would say if I had to guess how often I actually make these mini meter dunks where it's just, you know, the bad one, like because it's, I said, no fluctuation to it at all. It's either really good or really bad. So you see dunks with this type of a meter size very consistently. If they're a bad one, I probably make them at like a 30 to maybe 35% rate. I'm not even gonna gas it and say 40. I think I probably make it at like a 30% rate. So they're very hard to make, I must say, and I think I've done really good at like understanding when to release these dunk meters and stuff too. But I mean, guys, that's the large dunk meter too, for that matter. Like this is as big as I can visually make it. And I will acknowledge, just, you know, it does look like a mile long of green right here. It's a little bit deceiving. Obviously, you know, like I said, I could have a smaller meter and it wouldn't look as crazy, but I just want to be able to visually see everything that I can. And it is an easy meter to hit 100%. So anyway, moving into the next clip, as you can see, we have another, once again, offhand movement. So this is going to be that behind the back, I'm flicking down on my right stick diagonally and holding RT while doing it. And then I move my left stick as well. And what it's going to do off that is, as you can see, get a big behind the back. I'm getting past my defender because he's playing me high. And again, there will be workarounds to stuff in this video that we'll talk about where if someone's sitting paint on you, because some of you guys out there are probably like wondering that. what do I do when people are sitting paint on me? I have everything else figured out, but what do I do about that? We'll get to that eventually in the video. But anyway, getting past your defender is obviously goal number one. And as I said, late drop off the corners. These guys are useless. They may as well not even be doing this, if I'm going to be completely honest. It does literally nothing, and you better believe that you are going to be absolutely just putting a poster if you're dropping off a corner in this game if people are dunk metering. Now, I will say they like may or may not know that I'm like, you know, on the meter dunk stuff too much. So doing stuff like this against people that have maybe a lower dunk rating or are a little bit more hesitant to do the dunk meter, that's where people will get absolutely punished for doing stuff like this. Because when you go up with some basic right stick dunk, like holding up on the right stick and you're trying to get some conservative stuff, people may block that pretty often, to be honest with you guys. But as I mentioned, you have a high dunk rating with, obviously, as you can see, Mamba take right here too. Two-way tenacity even lit up too. I mean, my dunk rating is actually like probably through the roof right now. But either way, it wouldn't have mattered. That late corner drop stuff is completely dead. It'll never work in this game as structured. So anyway, once again, another triple threat. This is where it actually does work for me to get past him as opposed to the last one that I showed. So this right here, I can already see my opening. As long as that, like, I'm not even watching this defender anymore. I see he's kind of locked in on my left, so I'm just like, all right, cool. I got the jab to work, so that means my right is all open as long as this guy doesn't pinch. So I'm ready in that moment to still pass over to Salt on the hash right here if he ends up like dropping way too hard. But thankfully, he didn't like release off him early enough. And I will say, with the spacing of how bad Limitless is in this game, you guys may struggle in some situations to be able to read that very quickly. You're gonna have to have some really fast reaction and stuff like that. But anyway, once you get past that wing pinch, though, it's all over from here. I mean, like I said, this guy, he can't do anything unless he absolutely just gassed it off the corner, like sprinted before I even beat the guy off the dribble and ended up feet planted here before I even go for this dunk meter. But generally, I would say actually 98% of the time, they're not going to be able to perform that. I'm going to agree with you guys. As long as you're playing with a structured team base, that is what it is. Now, I understand there will be people out there that aren't playing with this level of spacing on the court when it comes to, you know, what you're going to get out of your own team or maybe playing rec and stuff like that. What I do want to keep you guys in mind with, though, is Salt's on an 86 three-pointer, Tonic's on an 82 three-pointer right here. We literally have like bronze Limitless and no Limitless on the hashes with not a like crazy level of three-pointer or anything like that at all. I mean, nobody here has anything more than 86 three-point rating. But regardless, anyway, in the 5-out set, I'm just saying you will struggle in some situations with the perimeter spacing because there's so much stuff going on the three-point line. And if you don't have cutters everywhere or anything like that, you can't really punish people for it, so it will be kind of tough. But anyway, again, like I said, I know some people out there, they may not have this level of spacing in the rec center. So take what I have in this video and apply it to your own setting. I will talk about fast break and stuff like that too. And in general, we'll just talk about how to read a defense and how to read your like meter availability. So getting to the meter, once again though, right here you can see I'm setting him up. I'm setting him up off the fact that I'm going to bait this right side movement right here. I'm baiting this defender into pinching me, and I'm baiting this defender, once again like we just showed earlier in the video, to actually play my right, even though I'm setting it up to play the middle. And as you can see, that's what opens up this gigantic like space to roam. And as you can see, corner dropper, it don't matter. And now, this is the reason why you may be asking, why don't you dot the corner? Why don't you dot the hash here? Here's the thing. This is like literally a 98% shot, bro. Like, I don't want to hear any of that stupid nonsense of that you need to get your teammates involved. You have to do this, that, and the other. If this is the shot that goes in almost every time, and these are the shots that go in, even wide opens in this game, wide open shooting is not very easy. If these are the shots that are only going in at about a 50% rate or 60% rate, why? Why? Explain to me. Like, and sometimes too, this guy might even pre-rotate. He'll rotate over to the corner. This guy will realize he's beat and rotate over to the hash. So I understand your teammates may not enjoy being a cone on the court 100% of the time, but I'm just telling you, until the defense makes it obvious that you have to make those passes, and as you can see, this guy was not leaning toward that, so I guess it is what it is. Maybe it was a situation where I have to obviously pass, but do I have to? No, I didn't even get a contact dunk right there. It was going to be a plenty good take. So anyway, into the next clip. This is where I have like, I can see I have a ton of space to work with, so this is essentially me just seeing that I got all that to work with. I'm gonna step back to get myself some space, and then this is a chain dribble move, I'm gonna call it. So like I'm doing that behind the back, but then as soon as I did it, I'm tapping RT to the offhand, like as in I'm tapping RT, holding my left stick to the offhand, and it's gonna give me the blowout dribble. And this is how you can actually utilize it in the half court, as long as you have good spacing everywhere, because I will tell you that is gonna play out all the way until here. You can't even do anything until right here. So I only did that because I can see the hashes aren't pinching and this guy was playing off, so I had plenty of room between everything. That's just bad defense in general. And then once again, to react to the dunk, This is me getting into that blinder spot. This is going to be a bad positioning for a defender to be. And once again, boom, there you go. Free dunk. No takeover or anything like that, obviously, in that clip, so it's going to be a simple one. This right here is a very intriguing clip, and that's what I wanted to actually talk to you guys about as well. If you want to use your slasher or big man as a pick and roller and you have a high driving dunk, what you actually can do is I am flicking up on my stick and holding down right now as you view it. I'm already doing it, and it preloaded the dunk meter so that I can instantly get into the meter as soon as I catch the ball. Rather than if you catch the ball and go for the meter, you're gonna fumble it around. You're not gonna get right into the dunk animation. You're gonna see a lot of times too where you kind of float all the way into the baseline and then you're not squared up at the basket enough to even dunk it anymore, so you get a layup instead. And I'm trying to put you guys on major game right here. Preloading your dunk meter is a thing. You can flick up and hold down right now in this moment. You honestly could even do it from about like right here. So definitely keep that in mind as far as like one thing that you take from this video as far as tips, because as you can see, it is very important in terms of getting that precise dunk to pop up right here. And as you can see, I get the meter size already locked before he even got down here. If I started this meter, like if I started it right now instead of how it's already been started, I'm probably getting a terrible dunk meter size because this guy ends up in a great positioning eventually. It's just, it doesn't matter because, again, I preloaded it. It's on some Giannis stuff. I'm just punishing a dropper off the pick and roll, and people are going to have to play very good defense in their, you know, one-on-one, so to say, or two-on-two if the pick and roller and, like, the ball handler in the pick and roll game. But this right here, this is about Mamba, so I have sharp take. I get an ankle breaker, right? Now, check this out. I went for the dunk meter just to kind of swag this, but here's the problem. I started the meter late is exactly what I was just talking about, right? Because I didn't think that he was going to end up playing defense like that. What my impression was in this moment, I'm like, okay, I'm going to get to the offhand. He's going to chase me a little bit, so then I'm going to walk in and I'm just going to standing dunk meter. But no, instead, he gets his ankles broken and ends up in the spot to defend it in the first place. So this was just more of a, I predicted what was going to happen, and it didn't actually happen. But anyway, my point being, I start the dunk meter pretty late because I was anticipating I was going to go for a standing dunk meter because he's going to be in a better spot. But instead, as you can see, I start it really late and I end up below the basket, and now here I am in a standing layup. Fortunately, though, I time it really well and it ends up being open anyway. So this is where I also wanted to talk about. Layup meter is fluid. It changes like very fluidly. And I don't even know if that's the right word with it. But anyway, my point being, you can't see it because I filled the meter, but eventually, whatever I locked it in at, the green meter was probably around like right here. So I could have like mistimed it a lot worse than how I had it right there. But with layups, it fluctuates, that green size does, from every single millisecond of you doing the layup. With dunks though, it locks it in. You'll never see a dunk like green window actually fluctuate like that. Right here, just a cool little swag clip. You can see I do a moving spin and get a standing dunk like that. And actually, matter of fact, that's a good one to explain something too. So with this, I did the spin, and I'm already up down after I put in that spin input into my controller. So I already did the spin. Now I'm flicking up, holding down for the dunk meter. So as soon as it puts me into a situation where I can dunk meter, I will. And as you can see, it's preloaded instead of where if I just got to this spot and then tried to do it, I would have got a turnaround layup. So preloading your meter, definitely keep that in mind. It's a very, very big tip off this video to keep in mind. As you can see, just once again, kind of some swag clips, get a crazy spin right there. Now this right here, I have no idea. If you guys, like, take what you want from this video, because some of this stuff, I don't even know why or how, but in this situation, I've seen a lot of dunks like that where I move backwards, and you're going to see a lot of them even further in this video, where I move backwards while dunk metering, and it gets into an open spot. This is considered a tiny meter. Do I know why? Absolutely not. No clue. I still make it. Again, some of those, like if I did that and I missed, I wouldn't have clipped it, obviously. So I'm not here to tell you guys I make those every single time by any means. But anyway, this right here is the clip I was talking about. So this is the ball hand Hezzy. As you can see, he's walling me up really good. He's playing that offhand over and over again. I tried it. I was like, okay, let me go left. Nope. Right. Nope. Left again. Nope. So we go right instead again. So as you can see, with that ball hand Hezzy, this is going to be holding RT and flicking your stick to the right. And boom, you're going to speed boost out of that, get a crazy one. Now look at this. This is exactly what I was just talking about. So if you want to guess how big this dunk meter is going to be, go ahead and try, because the last one that we just did, it was extremely small. Now look at this one. Gigantic. He cuts me off and everything. But I think this is the thing. So when I start the meter, as soon as you can see it, the game like sees a little glimpse of hope. It sees that he is not in between me and the basket. He's technically, if you look at my player, like if you were to kind of treat like my backside as like the point of view you're looking at, he is technically on my left. It's like kind of a blinder sort of thing. So I get a glimpse at an open meter, and once again, it'll never change. The size of this meter is locked in once you actually go for that meter. And as you can see, we just baptize him, absolutely put him on the ground. I timed it really well anyway, so obviously, you know, that's something. Anyway, into the next clip. This is going to be a passing one. So you can see I once again do that little combo I was talking about. So I hit him behind the back into the blowout. And right here, I'm kind of locked in. Like, I can't even do anything until those icons popped up. I was preloading the icons through the whole thing. You are locked in to your, like, actual, like, blowout dribble right there. So right here, you can see I'm just like quick tapping it because the defense reacts, but just wanted to put you guys on game to how that kind of blowout dribble in the half court works. It's not exactly a consistent thing to go to by any means, but anyway, into our next little dribble combo right here, you can see we got a double behind the back, and once again, you're just trying to get yourself into open area. We will talk more about the dunk meters in this video, but you know, this one right here is obviously gonna be a dribbling clip. So behind the back into another behind the back, you're just kind of doing a left on your left stick and left on your right stick, and then back into a right on your right stick and right on your left stick too, and you're gonna get this one right here. So as you can see, he reacts to that first behind the back. That's what's killing him on this, because then he gets himself completely out of place because he had to react to the first one. So I kind of just once again predicted this. I was just boom, left, right, and as you can see, he definitely reacted to that. I think in general, what I think a big thing with slashing is it's almost like on some NFL route running stuff. I'm really nuanced with football. I'm just in love with football, and like kind of want to be a coach when I get older as well. But with my analogy for this is, you have to assume they're always going to play where you are. So it's more like a head fake. I'm like head faking that I'm going right here, and I'm baiting him into the left. And then because I'm baiting him into the left, I'm knowing that I'm going to open up the right. So I'm not making this up. I'm not BSing this or anything like that. I'm telling you guys that's actually what the intention is in all of these like moments right here. Everything is done on purpose for the most part of what I do. And it's not just BSing it and just hoping to God it works. It's not really like that. Same with here. I'm trying to split the difference between these two guys to make it a more open like passing lane to throw to right here. I'm not trying to lean one way or the other, and it just so happens that that's obviously going to be right down the middle for the dunk anyway. And then this is just trolling a little bit. I'm not going to lie. We're winning by a lot in the fourth, so I just wanted to do it. But floaters, I mean, they're actually pretty doable. That I will say, though, is a 12% contest. So just keep that in mind. I mean, I don't think he actually contested that very well at all. Didn't really have a hand up either. For that matter, he literally just got 12 off just standing there. That's kind of ridiculous. So, I don't know. I stay away from doing them too much, but you will see them definitely performed in this video. Now, right here again, this is where I have it on the break, and as you can see, he is between me and the basket. This is a bad take. Bad take. And as you can see, I had Tonic wide open in the corner too. So, again, you don't want to go for those. Be hesitant with anything on the break where someone's actually just very on you one-on-one. Again, we're just winning by a lot. I was kind of trolling, as you can see. You know, even though it ends up as an open dunk because he jumped through it, he jumped like through my dunk animation, the game still registered that as a very small dunk meter because of the fact that I started it really in a terrible spot. Now, also, another thing I want to put you guys on game with too. As you can see, I start the meter and I'm like freaking out after I let go of like the input. So as soon as I let go of that right stick, I'm like clicking right. How do I explain this? As soon as I let go of the right stick for the dunk, I'm clicking it again to preload this takeover selection. And as you can see, if you get it off quick enough and you know which one you want to just click right away, I just click RB for the physicals right away. If I go for a terrible dunk meter while I have takeover available, it will make me lose the whole thing. So as you can see, I was ready to do it, but thankfully I made it, so I just canceled it. That one right there, I'm not going to explain too much. I just have a high aerial wizard, and I just go for a putback dunk. It is what it is. But next clip down, as you can see, grab the rebound, hitting that blowout dribble like over and over, and then right here you can see it gets opened up. You can kind of like see the court opened up in this way as well. So like you can tell that this guy, they're both playing too far left. Like one's gonna set up on the hash, one was thinking back end, but he's playing way too far left on that back end. So the behind the back opens me up to this open alley, and as you can see, wide open dunk. So it's gigantic. That's just how it's gonna be. So moving along into our clips moving forward. Again, I'm trying to split the difference between these two defenders. I want to make sure I'm not way too far away from Tonic, because if I go drift into the right too far, then this is going to be a passing lane. If I stay way too close to him, I'm going to really mess up the angle on this pass. And this is one where I'm just really hoping he doesn't lob me, because it's going to be terrible angles for that. So thankfully, again, fast break angles are like a really big deal, but thankfully he doesn't lob me, and boom, we get that pass right in front of him, and now his defender who just peeled off is in a bad spot. So this is a gigantic dunk. Again, blinders-esque, where he's on my side and not in front of me in the basket. So it's just going to be a huge meter pretty much every single time. I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. This one too, it's going to be a late defender coming out from the corner, and again, you can see the meter starts before he's in a good spot. Now, a good spot is literally a couple feet away. It's kind of crazy how the fluctuation on this stuff can literally be either this, the gigantic unmissable meter, or if he's one step closer and standing right here, it's going to be a mini meter. So that's the frustration you're going to have to deal with as a slasher. That is the tough part of this life. It just is what it is, and it's going to happen to you, I promise. But anyway, either way, as you can see, that one works out plenty fine, so it is what it is. Moving into the next one, again, fast break. I'm trying to stay available for the pass, yet as you can see now, playing between the two defenders and just trying to cut that distance right in between them. So again, we're drifting into an open pass. I'm staying away from anybody that's a threat so that I can get the ball and start maneuvering myself. And as you can see, I'm cutting straight into the middle of the two of them so I can split the difference, and neither of them will be in like my center of gravity. It's literally going to be either to the left of me or to the right of me. And that was perfect execution on fast break. That's why I'm trying to tell you guys, if you're someone who wants to utilize this stuff in rec center, you may be able to absolutely take advantage of this dunk meter stuff in transition. You just have to be smart with it. And it doesn't matter who your teammates are. It doesn't matter about spacing in transition. You can just get out and get on, just jam out. Simple as that. Now, let's talk about standing dunks real quick. This is going to be one where I catch it and I'm already holding X. That's a terrible, terrible, terrible idea. You're never going to get that to work. You need to be squared up with the basket before you standing dunk in this game. That's just how it works, and that's a very big pet peeve. So instead, you can see I get a terrible layup. I'm not trying to do that. And even though I say that, the whole like square yourself up with the basket, I typically do. I typically just catch it and I'll stand still for like a second or two and then just rise up with it once I'm underneath it. In this case though, I already preloaded another meter. So I'm flicking up, holding down, and boom, I'm straight into a dunk meter right off that. But that's also another thing you have to deal with in this game too. Even if people foul you or not, you will miss green dunks sometimes. Look at this, literally like nothing of a block or anything like that. It literally just rims off and it just doesn't go in. That will happen sometimes, and you better believe it. It will happen to you, I promise. Like, it's already happened to me probably like 7 times in total. Anyway, this one, crazy blowout dribble coming up the court. I mean, just like literally gassing it all the way up. This is so fire doing this stuff. 1, 2, 3, offhand, 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 and then as you can see, we go straight into that meter right here. I guess it's blinders-esque. Again, he's on my right and he's not technically in a perfect guarding position, but if he's just a little bit further to the left, that's one where you have to pass. And I promise you guys, I do obviously pass in those situations. If he's already like down here, I'm not forcing that dunk at all. This is a pass over the corner every time, but we just so happen to be looking at a clip cut up of me getting a ton of dunks, so you're not going to see the passing ones. But again, you definitely want to be mindful of like those corner drops. If they get there super early, you gotta pass. It is what it is. So like this one right here, this is gonna be a terrible dunk meter size. You have to be ready to pass that. And as you can see, I just decided to go all the way gung-ho on the take, and boom, we're able to actually green this one unbelievably. And again, this is another thing too, where like, the animation plays out and it's like he just gets completely just nudged out the way, and you would think that this is one that it's like I'm open now, right? But no, it counts it as a contested contact dunk as far as your meter size because of exactly what I just said. So like I said, I'm showing you guys some of the most freaky dunk clips that I had. Right here, you can see late corner drop, so we're able to just get that to bang out. That's always going to be just is what it is. I'm going to show some ones clips as well. Once again, a little bit of a blinders-esque dunk right there, so he's on my right side. Simple. Now, with these clips moving forward, you're looking at a lot of ones, a lot of twos gameplay. So right here, you can see he's just sitting paint on me. I'm 100% field goal. I have 12 points, and it's not make it take it. So like we've been trading possessions, and he sees I'm dunking the ball over and over again. So he's sitting low in the paint. Now floaters, especially with slash take, extremely easy. Look at how bad I timed this one. I literally half bar it and it goes in, bro. And he jumps and everything late. It's still considered wide open. So floaters are extremely good for the paint sitters as far as your counteraction to them. So if you're ever dealing with a build where you made a pure slasher, yet you still have to take advantage of the people sitting paint, you can do this stuff. I have 80 driving layup, and it still looks very good even without takeover as well. So definitely keep that in mind. This one right here, little triple behind the back. It's kind of fire. Now that's pro behind the back if you ever want to use it. These are a little bit older clips, and like I said, it's not even older because these are all post-patch gameplay. But I literally just switched to Tatum a couple days ago. So like I said, this pro behind the back stuff, you're gonna see it plays out a little bit for most of these clips now because they're a little bit older. But yeah, like look at that. So that's our example of a quote-unquote bad meter, even though he's coming out the corner as a late defender. So like, he's not sitting here. I'm doing a spin, and as you can see, feet planted in the paint. This is considered a bad dunk meter. If he was like literally like one step over to the right, this would be a gigantic meter. And this is what I'm telling you guys. You're gonna get frustrated with this stuff sometimes, because when I see this, I'm like, okay, time to just dunk meter it out. He's gonna be late. He wasn't late. He ended up moving into a good spot, and boom, he challenges it, and it's a missed dunk, even though I get a like really good timing on it. So some of them, like, you're gonna have to time it literally perfect, and it just won't work like that. Again, pro behind the back on display, and once again, blinders as dunk. They're both on my left, so it doesn't even work. I know we're kind of gassing some of this stuff in this clip, and as you can see right here, like, he absolutely walled up. If you ever want to do it, you can cancel them out. You can tap X after you do the dunk meter, and you're gonna be able to transition into an acrobatic layup right here. You better believe though, standing dunk meters are actually just so freaking good that they doesn't play by the same logic as the driving dunks. Like, this guy is just tiny, he's under the basket, and I don't even know what to explain to you guys with the standing dunk meters. They're just gigantic most of the time, no matter what. Unless someone's playing hands up D, they have walled you up, and I think standing dunk meters, they play by the actual logic of how it should be, where if you have them dead zone, it's actually a good dunk. Whereas if you do it from a little bit of a further range, like if I was out like here trying to do it and he was still walled up, that's going to be a really small dunk. So if you have feet planted and your guy has like a vicinity of being able to rise up and actually just dunk it, I think you're looking good. Now, we also have things like this, and also we're on our last minute 40 of the clips. I know it's been a pretty long video so far, but I appreciate you guys watching, and if you did enjoy the video so far, feel free to drop a like, sub if you're new, tell them noties, all good stuff, and like always, try to win 2,000 likes. If you made it to this point in the video, put / in the comments, Search Sports all the way through. But this one right here, I feel like I went crazy. Like, I actually really created some good separation on this, but as you can see, he gets a bump. Like, these body up bumps will happen to you. So like, he does absolutely nothing but play bad defense right here, if you ask me. I just beat him really good, like, to the spot right there, yet he just gets a body up, and then he plays hands up. He's just begging that he doesn't get dunked on, because honestly, I was preloading the meter as well. I'm already dunk metering in this moment right here because he's on my side, but he happens to just get kind of bailed out with, you know, quote-unquote good defense, and I get knocked out of bounds. We did end up winning that game, though. We had 19 points to their 20. That was a tough one to end up losing that ball. But anyway, into the next clip. Once again, this is kind of the bait. So if you're ever on twos, or like anywhere where it's not just constant fives, where you have like a, you know, like if you're in a 5-out, you got someone in the hash, someone in the corner, someone in the hash, someone on the corner. So there's really no way to like avoid where the majority of the defense is. But if you ever are in an overloaded situation, and twos is the best example of it, you can bait this. I recommend it the most. Bait the side of where the help defender is, because you will get that defender to step over to the left, because they don't think in the principle of like a shell where they need to like protect their right to funnel you into the left and force you into their help defender. They don't think like that on twos, and in general, just like these park kind of casuals, it just is what it is. So they don't think like that. You can just bait him into that left and take him away from the help defender. Now I don't have a help defender to pinch or drop or do anything to bait me, and I just baited them both into playing my left right there. So now, blinders, dunk. Simple, right? I mean, we've gone over that about 15 times now in the video. Now, this one, he's just hitting paint. So I've already hit him twice with the dunks. 2 out of 3 have gone, you know, and he sees that I'm up here inside now at this point. He sees I'm not trying to shoot the ball. So he's sitting paint. And, you know, fortunately for him and his stupid defense, this never used to be good defense. Sitting right below the basket, not good D. But in this game, it is. That's just how it works. It's a really stupid feature, if you ask me. I think the dunk like size on the meter needs more fluidity to it and more fluctuation, but it's not like that. It's either gigantic or small, and this one right here would be considered small. So instead of forcing the dunk and trying to go for something that's going to frustrate me as a slasher, we're just going to instead go with the floater. So I'm holding down on my right stick, and you get the floater to go. He is so low that he's not going to contest it ever, and you don't need mid-range for this. You don't need any shooting at all. I have 25 mid, 25 three-pointer, and I have an 80 driving lay. Now, you can also do this very doably with like a 70 driving lay with gold pro touch. I think it's plenty fine as well. And that's just going to be super easy. Into the very next part of the clip, we have another one where Joey just hits me back. Now they try and switch pink shorts onto me and take like Boots guy over to the corner. And as you see, he's just late and he's going to try and jump too. But I mean, as you can see, it's just going to be a wide open. So if you get familiar with your float game, it's going to be a very good tool for you as a slasher for these paint sitters. You absolutely want to like make that a part of your game. Now, peep this. This is exactly what I was talking about too, where I'm trying to bait the help off the left. I'm waiting, and boom, I want to do it to the right. And as you can see, he does get caught stepping to the left. I get past him, so now I'm in that dunker spot of the standing dunk meter, and now they're both in that like kind of blinders-esque spot. You know, this is going to be my driving dunk rating, allowing my dunk meter to be this big, but I will still be able to do standing dunks. I'm not putting them on display too much in this video, but boom, like you get the standing contact meter, and that's obviously because I have a high standing dunk as well. So anyway, into the next clip. This one right here, he walls up good, and look at this. This is the type of stuff I'm talking about, and if you ever like question, like, you know, you think I'm an idiot for saying what I say, no, you're the idiot if you question it, because this does not have any fluctuation to it. If it was a fluctuating meter like the layups are, then this would just increase the size in this moment. I am a wide open dunker right now, but it has locked it in from the moment that I started the dunk. And from the moment I started the dunk, he was walling me up really good, even though he's a small 6'4" point guard that has very low interior defense, and he's not really playing good defense in my opinion. You know, boom, he flops, he gets out the way, but I already locked in the meter, so the meter size stays. And there we go. I lose the ball off what felt like a very good dunk attempt. Not to mention, same guy right here, he's going to be playing like actually pretty solid defense in terms of his technicality. Like he's playing very good spots. As you can see, he adjusts to the offhand run. He's not going for that BS of me baiting him to the right. And as you can see, I get a small meter again. Because why? He walled me up really good. He's in a good position. He's in a good guarding spot. And I went for a meter, and it doesn't matter what his interior D is. So just keep that in mind. It's for the best and for the worst sometimes. Sometimes you dunk on people you shouldn't dunk on at all. There will be droppers coming out the corner with 92 block and 85 interior D, and it's the same size as what it would happen if it was like a 6'1" point guard dropping out the corner like that. So just keep that in mind as far as how this game plays, fellas. But anyway, I green it right there on him. Again, I think that's the skill gap. If you want to talk skill, is making those tiny meters. You can still do it. It's just going to be really, really hard. Like, it's not going to happen very often. Like I said, I'm proud of the fact that I shoot probably around 30% on those, but it's still a very like extreme difference in the amount of makes on those versus obviously the ones that you can get yourself open on. So now we have the last part of the video for the most part. This pink shirt guy was playing absolutely just in your chest defense, in your face defense, and it was really frustrating to deal with. It's definitely the type of defense I struggle with the most, but if you can use your teammate as a reset, what's actually going to work really well for this is triple threat. So as you can see, he's playing that left on me really hard. I don't know why. I mean, technically I do know why. I'd kind of do the same thing because it's funneling into that help defender right here, but I hit that little jab, and you can see I do it like before he makes that body contact. So there's a jab right there. So that establishes to me, I'm like, okay, right side's all good now. So if he doesn't overplay the right at all, and in which case he doesn't, boom, I'm spinning to the right. It's going to get me free. And now, again, even if he drops late, who cares? I'm dunking on his head. Easy, because he's a late defender, and the game doesn't register that. So there's a lot this game could work on in terms of its dunk meter. But it is what it is. We're here to explain how to, you know, take advantage of the best of it. So once again, I'm jabbing to the left instantly. Boom, you can see it. I'm like, okay, that means I'm going right. Simple. There we go. Beat him. He's late. There we go. It's already locked in. So now, again, like even though, like there's my meter and there's where he is. If he was earlier and he was right here, it's going to be a small meter. If he was, since he's on the left side of the hoop, it's going to be a big meter. Keep that in mind for corner droppers. I'll just put it like that. If they're on the correct side of the basket as like, or the similar side of the basket as you, that's what makes it small. If they're on the opposite side of the basket of you, that's what makes it big. So even though he comes over here and ends up at the middle of the hoop, I'm still going to get that to go because it's a gigantic meter off the fact that he's a late defender. And that's what you're generally going to see in this situation, because if they go any earlier, like if he's already way down here, I'm passing it, but he's a late defender. I don't have to do that. And again, guys, I'm not going to pass the ball when it's going to be an easy shot to make. It's as simple as that. Why would I pass up a freaking dunk that's like going to be quote unquote open for a wide open jump shot? It's just like stupid logic. It's not going to happen. I'm just telling you guys, like, don't expect that from me. All right. I will pass the ball 100%. It's just not in those situations. So we got one little combo right here into holding RT and down on the right stick. And that's what gives me that Zach LaVine behind the back. And now once again, this is probably the first time he ever played me. This dude was spinning and spinning and spinning on this twos court. But anyway, I faked that movement to the middle and behind the back over to the left, and you can see it technically counts this as like more of a blinders dunk. Now I'm not gonna lie, it's pushing it. That's like really getting lucky because I'm barely getting to that. If he's like just even the slightest smidge further to the left, I'm probably getting a tiny meter. He walled me up and we're playing defense right now. So yeah, be mindful of these. Obviously this is not a good take to go for, but either way it works out. It's going to be something I'd say that works about 40 to 50% of the time where you're going to get something good to happen right there. Right here, again, just a solid dunk. You know, we're going to play that back one more time, but that's the last clip, and it's not even really a super notable one. So I'm just baiting the movement to the middle. I hit the behind the back to the left. I get them almost every time if they're casual or just like someone that hasn't really, they're not even nuanced to playing slashers. I'm going to be real with you guys. Even the most competitive of the all comp in the game doesn't even know how to play slashers sometimes. So when I say a not very nuanced or a casual player, I'm more so mean in terms of just guarding a slasher, period. Because I don't care if they're comp or not. Some people just don't know how to play slashers. And in this case, he doesn't know his good leverage. He's playing the middle. He goes for the reach, tries to bump steal me, just like he's probably played every other human in the game, except I play a little bit different. So anyway, we get to that spot, go for the standing dunk meter, dunk on their heads because they're just late. So one last time to reiterate this, the dunk meter size only matters in terms of where you started it. Nothing fluctuates off that at all. So if you look good when you're doing it, you're going to look good when you're finishing it. Simple as that. So anyway, that is all for the video. I hope you all enjoyed. If you did, feel free to drop a like, sub if you're new to noties, all that good stuff. And like always, try to just 2,000 likes. If you did make it to the end of the video and you enjoyed, put slash in the comments, or you could put Laker in the comments as well to show your support to me all the way through. Now, if you want to see my other SIGs, so I already talked about the triple threat, the Tatum behind the back, the pro behind the back, all that stuff, the blowout dribble, all that. But if you want more further, like, you know, nuanced like tutorials on the dribbling and stuff, absolutely feel free to check out any of my other videos. I've done a lot of dribble tutorials this year, between 40 ball handle, 60 ball handle, and now I will do a new one with 75 ball handle as well. So I'll drop the SIGs for you guys in another video updated, but most of this stuff has stayed the same besides my behind the back and my hezzy. The hezzy is Anthony Edwards as well, if you were curious. But anyway, that's all for the video. Hope you all enjoyed. Other than that, take it easy, man. Peace.